Hello all, welcome to this class on isometric projections, and in this class let's try to solve the second problem in isometric projections, that is a cone of base diameter 30 mm and height 40 mm rests centrally over a cube of side 50 mm. Draw the isometric projection of the combination of the solids. So here you can just see if you'll have to first draw a cube of side 50 mm, and upon that you will have to place a cone of base diameter 30 and height 40. So let's try to do that problem. So for that you will have to first draw a cube. So cube, for the cube it's like the same whatever we use in every problem. So 30, 150, minus 150 and minus 30 are the angle combinations, and the length, so length, the side length is 50. So first try to draw a line and leave your mouse, and now give the dimensions. 50 is side length, 50 tab, 30 enter, 50 tab, 150 enter, 50 tab, minus 150 enter, 50 tab, minus 30 enter. So once you have finished doing that, let's try to place it, let's try to move it and place it somewhere over here. And now go to visible line again, try to give the height of the cube. So as I told, in cube all the sides are equal, so 50 give it, so give it at every point, so give it 50. So just click it, and here again give 50, enter. So now you can try to join that. Okay, so now that is fine, now that is done. So now you can try to move it and place it somewhere over here. Now let's try to construct the top portion, and then let's try to place it over here. So to construct the top portion, that is a cone, you can't directly construct it, so you need again to construct a base frame, where it is where it is something like a top of a cube. So for that you will have to use a line again. So for that let's try to draw it. So let's try to do that using a normal line, and finally only the cone shape let's try to make it using visible, or else let's try to construct everything in visible, and then let's try to delete it off. But that's also fine. So see, base diameter they are telling it as 30, so 30 is the side length or something like that you can take, and then the height of the cone you can use it as for 40. So first try to draw a line 30, and then use the same combinations like for angle 30, 150, minus 150 and 30. So 30 tab, 30 enter, 30 tab, 150 enter, 30 tab, minus 150 enter, 30 tab, minus 30 enter. So now see that you try to move that and place it somewhere over here. Now you can try to zoom that particular thing. So after doing that, see that you try to draw lines. So let's try to draw that using a normal line. Or else let's try to make this normal, because this one will have to be normal. So, or else let's try to make that visible, because while drawing it could be a bit confusing to us. So now go to line, go to normal line. So placing at one corner, draw a line such that it draws exactly a midpoint line here. And similarly from here to this line, try to draw a midpoint line. Whenever you are placing the cursor here, whenever you get this indication, that means that is a midpoint. So similarly from here, try to draw a line till here. And similarly from here, let's try to draw to this line. So now after doing that, go to arc by center point. So arc by center point. So keeping this as the center, let's try to create an arc. So you can try to zoom that even further, so you will get it much better. So see that, placing this and just try to draw an arc till here, and let that be visible. So see that you are making that as visible, let that arc be visible, and again keeping this as center, try to draw an arc. So see that you're getting it correctly, you're placing that center correctly. That is very important, because that arc shouldn't go outside this this base frame. So similarly, keeping here center, try to draw an arc over here, and similarly this center, try to draw an arc over here. So we have just, so see that that is not coming correctly. So see that you're drawing a correct arc. Okay, so that's fine now. So now let's try to draw a line, draw a normal line, normal diagonal line. So from its midpoint, somewhere if you are dragging your mouse cursor, you get the midpoint of it. So let that midpoint, okay, let that midpoint still be a normal one, not an issue. So give the height. So the height they are telling in this problem, you can clearly see the height is found to be height of the cube is 40. So give the height as 40. Enter. So 40, enter. See that you're trying to zoom that again. So after that, you can try to delete this frame, whatever the unnecessary ones. Let's try to delete that. So delete all these unnecessary lines except this. So this one, let's try to keep it, and let's try to, using a visible line, let's try to draw a tangent. So from this apex, let's try to draw a tangent. And similarly from here, let's try to draw a tangent. So see that now you are trying to trim it off. So trim this, trim this, trim this. So trim off all these. So all these lines, let's trim it off. So now this line will actually be necessary to place that exactly on this, upon this cube. So let's try to move it. So now let's try to draw a diagonal line to this cube. So let's try to make that a normal line, that is not a visible line. So now let's place exactly this one over here. Let's try to select that, move it, see that the copy is switched off. So this is the center. So let's place that exactly over here. Okay, exactly on this midpoint of it. So midpoint is here exactly. So whenever you're placing it on the midpoint, you get an indication that that is a midpoint. So you can easily identify it. So now let's try to zoom that. So zoom that and see that you try to trim off. So trim some unnecessary lines, edges, all that. So now what you can try to do it is go to select that completely. So go to scale. So scale it down to 0.816. So we have just scaled it down. So now you can similarly how you did in the previous problem, go to smart dimensioning, select that, go to this dimensions. So again go to here, give ISO 50 something. It's just like normal in every, just like every, you can just go give caps ISO 50. So it is normal, just like you do in every problem. Click OK, and so it is just like normal. So that completes the problem. Thank you. Hello all.